position. Dupree, however, does start way back in the 28th position. Car number 83 for Johnny Anzalone Jr. should be starting in the 4th position. The Busch Racing Series scoreboard has been corrected as we are set to send the field off for their 50-lap main event. Pace car looking to duck down off the speedway on the backstretch as Pete Brockett, car number 88, the 11 of Mike Joyce, line up right up in row number 1. Mark Gear pointing to turn number 4. The drivers look to pick up the pace into turn 4 as the green flag looks to come out as Darrell make that Pete Brockett and the 11 of Mike Joyce work side by side through the turns. Johnny Anzalone Jr. and the 57 of Drew Erickson working side by side for the 3rd position. Anzalone coming out on top for that spot as he quickly moves in to challenge Brockett for the runner-up position. Mike Joyce is your current leader with car number 11 as the middle of the pack running 3 wide into turn number 1. The drivers looking for the dust to settle as Anzalone up in front. He looks to make his bid for the lead turn number 3. He's successful as he leads Mike Joyce out of turn number 4. So John Anzalone Jr. is your new leader with car number 83. Mike Joyce running 2nd. Side by side for 3rd out of turn 2 as Terry Page comes out on top for that 3rd position. Pete Brockett Jr. dropping back with the 88 is Russ Holly, the next driver to work his way on by as we've got trouble on the front stretch, a car going around. Looks as though it's car number 81 for Mike Heyer to the infield. As we speak, we do see the 44X return to that area of the speedway as John Anzalone continues as your pace setter. Russ Holly quickly moving in to challenge for that runner-up position. Tough break for the 4. Mark LaJoy, our defending track champion in the Armco barrier. LaJoy losing the left front tire on the 4. LaJoy keeps the car rolling as he's up in that pole position. He sets the pace through the turns as Anzalone looks to win the drag race down to turn number 1. Russ Holly running 2nd. Holly looks to be closing in on the back bumper of Anzalone's number 83 through the turns. However, Anzalone looks to be a little faster out of the straights. Terry Page running 3rd. Then a side-by-side battle for the 4th spot between Eddie Clark and Mike Joyce. Ben Matro at car number 9 running in the 6th position. Then side-by-side for 7th between Steve LaRose.
That's right.
And it looks to be the 01 of Frank Baton. Top 2 cars work nose to tail down the 300-foot-long backstretch into turn number 3. They look to be adding to their advantage over the 3rd place runner of Terry Page. Benny Matro, high one and handsome with car number 9. Looks to gather it back down quite nicely. Matro able to maintain his ground on the speedway. Working alongside the 21 is Steve LaRose past the Busch Racing Series scoreboard into turn number 3. 3 wide, the middle of the pack works away into turn number 3. Mike Blansfield, Drew Erickson, and Rich Kowalski all look for a little racing room. As the top 2 drivers remain unchanged, scoreboard shows 9 laps scored as complete. Eddie Clark is broken away from that 2nd pack of automobiles. Clark looks to be closing in on Terry Page in the 28. LaRose continues to hold off the challenges of Alan Coates and Mike Joyce. Coates, the man on the move, though, with the 1. Coates wasn't in that spot a couple of circuits back, but rapidly working his way to the front with a Legend Auto-sponsored Chevrolet. This time around, Coates looks to be challenging Steve LaRose. He's working, looks as though for the 5th position out on the speedway. That puts LaRose back to the 6th spot. As Coates a little loose up in turn number 4, up in the marbles. That allowed Steve LaRose to get back that spot on the speedway. Meanwhile, it continues to be John Anzalone and the 44 of Russ Holly. Terry Page working in that 3rd position. He's about 5 car lengths behind. After that's the 8 of Eddie Clark, the 21 of LaRose, the 1 of Coates, the 33 of Moose Down, the current point leader. So Doughton making his silent charge to the front. However, the caution is out on the speedway. Rather gingerly through the turns. Car in trouble on the backstretch. Moose Doughton, our current point leader. So a tough break for our top runners as Doughton running into some sort of mechanical difficulties with the 33X. So not a good afternoon for our defending track champion or our current point leader. As Doughton now looking to retire on the front stretch with the 33 is John Anzalone. Looks to click off lap number 15. Russ Holly running in the runner-up position. That's Terry Page in the 28, the 1 of Alan Coates. The 8 of Eddie Clark. Vinnie Matro in the 9, that's the 01 of Batone, the 6 of Rich Kowalski, then the 78 Beal as a field. Looks to pick up the pace into turn number 3, John Anzalone, and the 44 of Russ Holly. They work side by side out of turn number 4. Anzalone quickly moving out front. He leads a charge down to turn number 1. Alan Coates, the man on the move with the 1. He's now up to the 3rd position out on the speedway, working his way past the 8 of Eddie Clark through the turns. Vin Matro in car number 9. He's running in the 4th position. Eddie Clark and the 11 of Mike to make that the 01 of Frank Batone battling for position. Batone coming out on top for 5th. Clark now back to the 6th spot. Then it's the 78 of Mike Blanchfield and the 6 of Rich Kowalski through the turns. Matro way up high with car number 9. Drives a very unique circuit around the 1/3 mile oval. The driver of car number 9 does a pretty respectable job with the automobile. However, working way up high like that leaves the door wide open for drivers to take over down low. Meanwhile, at the line, John Anzalone continues to set the pace as Don Mosher looks to retire to the infield with the 87. Battle on the speedway for the runner-up position. Alan Coates battling with Russ Holly. Coates coming out on top at the present time with car number 1. Holly now back to the 3rd position with the 44. Then it's Frank Batone, Mike Blanchfield, Ed Clark, Rich Kowalski, Vin Matro, Mike Joyce, the 94 of Tom Garrity, and the 47 of Joe Mancini. Lap number 20 coming up this time around as John Anzalone leading Alan Coates about a 2-car length advantage over the 2nd place runner. Russ Holly maintaining that 3rd position. That is Frank Batone and Mike Blanchfield. Terry Page off the pace with the 28. He had overheating problems during that red flag period. Looks as though the overheating has continued. He joins Don Mosher in the infield, waiting for the next caution period should one arise. Meanwhile, the top 3 remain pretty content with their running positions. John Anzalone, Alan Coates, and the 44 of Russ Holly. Mike Blanchfield running in the 4th position. Then it's Frank Batone, Ed Clark, and Vin Matro. Those are how the top 10 or so shape up at the present time. As it looks as though Mark LaJoy being chased down by the race leaders as our defending track champion about to go another lap down with car number 4. Well, that looks as though the top 2 cars, John Anzalone and Alan Coates, pulling away from the 3rd place runner of Russ Holly. Kelly Lindstrom also slowing with the 54K. He looks to work his way around the apron to the speedway. Halfway marker going out to the field. 25 down, 25 laps remaining. Anzalone continues to lead the 1 of Alan Coates, about 4 car lengths separating the top 2 automobiles. Russ Holly looks to be reeling in the back bumper of Coates' number 1 through the turns. Mike Blanchfield continues to maintain that 4th position out on the speedway. Frank Batone, Eddie Clark next in line. Then it's Rich Kowalski, Vin Matro, Mike Joyce, Joe Mancini, Tom Garrity, Ted Dupree. 21 of Steve LaRose, 81 of Mike Tierney, it's Ned Olson, Kelly Lindstrom, and Al Chasko. Again, those positions are strictly unofficial, as some of those cars may be laps down to the leaders, as Vin Matro, car number 9, looks to retire to the infield. cars becoming a factor for your leaders. John Anzalone Jr. working his way around the leaders. Car number 88, Pete Brockett, in the way. That looks to close up the ranks as Anzalone looks to go 3 wide out of turn number 4, battling with Pete Brockett and Drew Erickson. Alan Coates able to close the gap between he and the leader, John Anzalone. Anzalone with a little breathing room looks to pad his advantage down the backstretch into turn number 3. Lap number 30 due up this next time around as Anzalone looks to click off that circuit. Alan Coates continues as we've got trouble, your leader going around. Have to guess he's tagged by the 01 of, make that the 81 of starting time. Double action stunt team also scheduled to be on hand on Sunday, June the 3rd. Looks though Alan Coates looking to pick up where he left off with the 1. Russ Holly about a car length and a half behind. Mike Blansfield trying to make his way past the lapped cars. Here comes the 01 of Frank Batone as well. Batone running in the 4th position. He's right on Blansfield's back bumper through the turns. Out of turn number 4. Alan Coates and Coates and Russ Holly working their way through the turns. This time around, they're going to look to click off lap number 32. Don Mosher looking to retire to the infield with car number 87. Eddie Clark breaking out into the 5th position. Rich Kowalski right behind in the 6th spot. 38 of Roy Kelsey bobbling through the turns. Trouble on the backstretch as Mike Tierney and Drew Erickson get hooked together. Tierney continues. Erickson quickly corrects the 57 as we continue to run to the green, running 3 wide into turn number 1. As again, the 38 of Roy Kelsey bobbles out of 2. Caution out on the speedway. Have a little harder shot on the backstretch. One of the cars having the front bumper ripped right off the automobile. Next over in turn number 4, Mark Gear looks to send the field off. 34 down, 16 laps remaining. Alan Coates once again out in front. Russ Holly running in that runner-up position with a 44. Blansfield running 3rd. Field looks to sort themselves out down the 300-foot long backstretch, heading towards turn number 3. Lap number 35. History this time around. Eddie Clark being challenged by the 6 of Rich Kowalski. They're battling for that 5th position on the speedway. Clark coming out on top for that spot. Kowalski next in line with car number 6. Word has it, Mike Tierney, car number 81, going to receive the black flag. Top 3 cars, make that the top 4 cars, neatly strung out down the 300-foot long backstretch into turn number 3. Roy Kelsey again running into trouble in turn number 1. Looks to get the car back up to racing speed as Coates looks to click off lap number 36. Joe Andrews in trouble with car number 20. Actually, the scoreboard said lap number 38 the last time we made note. As this time around, lap number 39 showing up on the lap count board. Your leaders working their way out of turn number 4 this time around. Alan Coates looks to continue to add to his advantage over Russ Holly. Mike Blansfield coming dangerously close to Russ Holly for that runner-up position. Holly working up high, Blansfield down low. Blansfield got right up even to turn number 2. Lap number 41 being scored this time by. Continues to be a battle side by side between Russ Holly and Mike Blansfield. Frank Batone looks to be closing in to make it a 3-car battle for that runner-up position into turn number 3. The 44 of Holly has the advantage. Lap number 42 being scored this time by 8 laps remaining to the finish. Continues to work side by side. They swap a little paint. Joe Andrews off the speedway over in turn number 2. He looks to rejoin the hunt with a 20 over in turn number 3. Russ Holly has the advantage. Alan Coates already crossed the line into turn number 1, but Mike Blanchfield is currently running second at the line. Holly running third, then it's the 0-1 of Frank Patone and the 8 of Ed Clark. John Anzalone, the early race leader, running into trouble on the backstretch. Anzalone just having one of those days here at the Speedway. Wrecked heavily in warm-ups, came back and qualified, then led a good part of the main event, only to get spun out by a lapped automobile. Anzalone was making a charge back up to the front. However, he drops out with mechanical difficulties. Lap number 45, about to become history. Looking for leader Alan Coates in car number 1. Coates across the line to click off lap number 46. Mike Blanchfield running all by himself in second. Russ Holly locked in a battle for third now with Frank Patone in the 0-1. Eddie Clark continues to run in the 5th spot with car number 8. 47 laps now scored as complete. It'll be a 1-mile dash to the finish. 3 times around the 1/3 mile oval for Alan Coates in car number 1. Mark Gear telling the field 2 laps remaining as he holds the popsicle sticks up in the air. That tells the drivers final 2 times around the 1/3 mile oval. To do it now or come up just a little bit short as Alan Coates way out running with car number 1. Blanchfield about a full straightaway behind with car number 78. White flag out this time by is Alan Coates battling with lap traffic. The traffic neatly out of Coates' way. Coates working his way through the turns for the final time. Scoreboard shows 49 as complete. Alan Coates working out of turn number 4 for the final time as Coates looks to pick up the win. Settling for the runner-up spot, car number 78 for Mike Blanchfield. 3 wide for the 3rd position. Russ Holly, Ed Clark, and Frank Patone all looking for that 3rd position out on the speedway. Gonna have to check for word for Busch Racing Series scorers as to who finished where, but one thing's for sure, Alan Coates picking up the win with car number 1. Mike Blanchfield settling for the runner-up spot with the 78. Well, Joe Golis already down track.
Strictly unofficial, folks. They have to pass a post-race inspection before it's all over. Well, looks as though he's got a co-pilot, at least down to the start-finish line. Again, Alan Coates, car number 1. Mike Blanchfield in the 78, the 01 of Patone, and the 44 of Russ Holly. Holly's car was pretty well banged up in qualifying earlier this afternoon. Evidently, they've got their problems squared away and got the car back into competition. Rich Kowalski, car number 6, also unofficially finishing in the top 10. Joe Mancini checking on his starting spot, unofficially finishing in the top 10 as well. Don't forget the lapper as Alan Coates finds his way to victory lane. It was a real hard-fought run. Al, you know, it's been a long time, buddy.
2 years.
2 years. Wow, he remembers. It's got to be tough for a driver not to win, but you did it in pretty well convincing fashion this afternoon. You just blew him around the outside. Was that the plan from the start?
Well, the fast way around this track is on the outside because everybody's afraid to run out there, but the closer to the wall you are, the less harder it is to hit it.
Well, you know, you've run in a couple of divisions here at the Speedway. Racing is racing. I don't care. That's what everybody strives to do. What division? Well, it really doesn't matter. You're right here. You're winning, and I think that's got to be part of what counts.
Yeah, it is. I want to thank my girlfriend Lori for putting up for me working on the car every night. My Uncle Bob for being here every week. My friend John helped me today, got the car handling, and all my sponsors.
You forgot to thank me.
Oh, thank you too.
Oh, jeez, I thought he was going to forget it.
I got
Al,
one more I got to get. Thanks to John at Mystic Auto Center.
oh, we didn't want to forget that. Al, again, nice race. Well done. Keep up the good work.